All right, everybody. Good morning and welcome to our very first virtual Shelter from the Storm event. My name is Karen Woodruff. I'm Vice President of Corporate Philanthropy and Community Relations at Wells Fargo. And we are living in incredulous times. We're all feeling it, deeply emotional, painful. So whether you are one of our 40 table captains, a returning guest, a Shelter from the Storm Society member, a donor, or you're new to Volunteers of America, I want to heartfelt thank you for joining us and taking your time to share a little bit of information this morning. So this is a typical event. We're in a big, huge ballroom. We've got close to 900 people. We're chatting. So this Zoom thing is kind of different for all of us. So hang in there for the technical difficulties, and if there's a lag between when we transfer from speaker to speaker, just hang in there, forgive us. You may hear work from home noises because some of us are still working from home, me included, and I see a lot of folks with beautiful homes in the background. I also have a dog in the background, so we'll hope she just keeps herself quiet. But really, again, thank you for taking the time for us today. While this is a virtual event, while we are working from home, things feel different. They feel a little bit different between, how we're communicating with each other, but the impact is the same. The goal today is really absolutely the same, to get you the information that you need to be inspired by the really life-saving and critical work of Volunteers of America. So during the short program, only 30 minutes, let's engage. I've seen tons of chat. Please use the chat box to clap, to wave, to say hello, to shout out. Really want to keep this interactive so we at least get each other's reactions to comments and things that you're going to be seeing over the course of this short 30 minutes. I've been a friend and advocate of Volunteers of America for more than 6 years. I deeply respect and I'm so proud of the work that the staff and the board do, providing quality housing, employment, and related supportive services to those who need it most. They don't just house homeless, so they're out of sight. They treat everybody with dignity, regardless of their circumstance. And every man, woman, child is surrounded with the support needed to achieve more than anyone thought possible. So go to the chat box now, please. It's down at the bottom of your screen. It says chat box. There's also reactions. Please use those. Type in right now one Volunteers of America program that's important to you. Or if you don't know the names of the programs, please just let us know who invited you today so we can give them a shout out. So I see, thank you. Senior Safe House, oh my gosh, foster, whoa, love it, blowing it up. Okay, John Brennan, Safe House, Senior Safe House, Melissa. Oh my gosh, I love it. I can't even read them, they're so fast. But what we're seeing is abused seniors, veterans, homeless, foster youth, ex-offenders. Thank you so much. Everybody put the chat on there so you can see all these fabulous people. Thank you so much.
Well, good morning, everybody. I think we just lost Karen there. Karen, you're doing a great job. Thank you very much. Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Leo McFarland, President and CEO for Volunteers of America, Northern California, Northern Nevada. For 114 years, VOA has worked within communities during some of the most difficult times in our nation's history, all the while staying true to our mission. We've adapted and grown while staying focused on the people we care for and the staff who support them. And our work has not stopped in the midst of this pandemic. And it hasn't stopped our country as our country grapples with the grief over the tragic death of George Floyd and the national outrage that has followed. Our shelters remain open in downtown Sacramento, regardless of our boarded up windows and the damaged buildings around us. And although safety has been an issue as our staff make their way to work, they show up. They do this because they know the homeless men and women residing in our shelter depend on them for safety and security. And I promise this morning will be an inspiring experience, which is what every one of us needs right now. So thank you for joining with us in this very unique way. And so for just a moment, just to start today, I'd like to share with you a message from one of our VOA ministers, Anna Bankert. She's right there on the screen. Anna wrote this week, "During these tragic times, we mourn with the family of George Floyd and pray for a peace that surpasses all understanding. We also pray for peace to invade our streets and homes. Dear God, we need you and your wisdom to guide us. Please help us be humble and choose to listen to those who are hurting so deeply. Help us realize that there is power in learning and understanding. This is not a time to provide words of comfort. This is an opportunity for us to show we care by listening. So God, thank you for unwavering love. Please let your love completely change us. Amen." Anna, thank you for that message. That's wonderful. So everybody, when you support Volunteers of America, as you are doing today with your presence here, you help us touch the lives of hundreds of your neighbors, both young and old, who are struggling with homelessness, addiction, mental illness, and trauma. And as a supporter of the work we do, you help 4,000 people in our community with emergency shelter, transitional and affordable housing every night of the year. These are abused and neglected seniors, struggling veterans, and homeless families. Because of your support, there's a pathway out of homelessness for each of these people. We do this through counseling, recovery support, employment preparation, and development of permanent affordable housing. So together, our staff and volunteers help build the foundation that supports men, women, and children in our community for a lifetime. Now, I have a serious question for you. How many of you have witnessed the growing homeless encampments while driving through town in just the past year? Raise your hand on Zoom or type in yes. And as I look down, I see that people are concerned about what's happening in the River District. I know there are a lot of tents in the River District and along the levees, and yes, in our suburbs. You know, it's not easy seeing this epidemic of homelessness, yet many people don't know what to do or how to help. And the good news is that VOA, we know exactly what to do. As an example, in partnership with Sacramento Housing and Redevelopment Agency, we converted a very old historic building, the Capitol Park Hotel. It's been repurposed to house our homeless neighbors who are finding refuge in the doorways of businesses in downtown Sacramento. And in just the past 6 months, homelessness ended for 106 of these men and women. Given the opportunity to stabilize in a safe and supportive shelter, their pathway from the streets and into affordable housing was only possible because of the love and support from our staff and the support of all of you through your financial gifts. At Capitol Park Shelter, we met people like Greg, who grew up being physically beaten and verbally abused by those who should have shown him love instead of violence. And at the age of 55, he had spent 35 years homeless, running from the traumas he'd experienced and the deep scars embedded in his soul. He was living in a tent, and it was taking a toll on his physical and mental health. But there was a quiet voice that kept reminding Greg education was his way out of the chaotic, difficult life on the streets. So he enrolled in college and spent his first full year in school while living in his tent. So Greg knew he needed housing and dependable electricity so he could charge his laptop and do his schoolwork. This was when Greg found VOA and the Capitol Park Shelter. Here, Greg got more than a warm bed, consistent meals, electricity, and a roof over his head. Our caring staff helped him begin to heal from the traumas of his childhood. And Greg began building the foundation he needed to finish school and find a good paying job. So today I'm proud to tell you that Greg lives in his own apartment and is working on getting his degree. We know that when someone like Greg is left on the streets, it's costing our community $50,000 to $150,000 per year per person as they migrate in and out of the emergency rooms and the legal system. So we celebrate Greg's achievement. And we know that our support of Greg was an extension of your impact when you support the work of VOA. So what does it take to make this kind of life-changing work happen? Well, heck, this year, VOA had a budgeted funding gap of $2.6 million. And that's the difference between what the government provides and the true cost of our life-changing programs. Then the COVID-19 pandemic added another $900,000 to that funding gap, bringing it to $3.5 million. But fortunately, many of you are Shelter from the Storm Society members, people who make a multi-year pledge to support VOA, and people like Greg. Your contributions and gifts from others have helped reduce our funding gap. So as of today, our gap has been reduced to $800,000. And that's what's left to fully fund our mission by June 30th, our fiscal year end. That is why your presence today is so very important. You are the reason we are able to be innovative and bring new tools to heal more of our neighbors. All of you are the reason we say yes to all who walk through our doors. So I hope today we will continue our successful partnership with all of you, because together we are making a difference. Now, here are another 3 lives you touched this year through your support of our mission.
Hi, Joseph. I'm David. Nice to meet you.
You was gonna say hi, Joseph, I think.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
Good. How are you?
It's really bad to see my son out here and my mom, who'd never been out here before, and
How old's your mom?
72, and she's in a wheelchair, and they stole her wheelchair.
They're going to get their camping stuff right now. So we're getting the camp broke.
How are you doing?
Good. I'm Ken.
Juanita.
Juanita, very nice to meet you.
Is that a GoPro?
Yes, it is. You're a smart boy.
I really want to have one. I really do.
They're fun.
Wow.
There's David. Say hi, David.
Hi.
Okay, and there's Kimberly.
Hello.
And there's
Hello.
Zoe. All right.
Wait, one.
You tell me, Juanita, if everything's good. Going. You want to stop? Stop.
They always say the kid is the last one in the family.
This is
What does this mean to you?
Life changing. I get my son back and my mom to be happy with me and know that I can take care of my son.
Yeah.
Thank you.
make yourself at home.
Good morning. My name is Kimberly. I can't believe that was us just last summer living along the bike trail and in abandoned buildings. So much has changed in just 1 year. What I really want to say today is that not everybody out there is bad. They all have their own story. Maybe if we give people a chance to show them a little kindness, like the kindness that Kent showed me when he found us living on the bike trail, then maybe people wouldn't give up. It's really hard to have people look down on you when you're already feeling bad about yourself. My son Joey took cold baths each morning before school so he would be clean when he arrived. Even though he was clean, other children would tease him for living in a tent. They were mean to him. I remember hearing my mom and my son crying at night. Joey was afraid that he would wake up and I wouldn't be there. It was just awful living without sanitation. Joey says other than a bed, the best part of being indoors is that he could get up and get a drink of water whenever he wants. It's surprising what we take for granted. But I don't take anything for granted anymore. Life is really great now, thanks to VOA, Child Protective Services. I never thought I would say that about CPS, but I really am. I'm also thankful for stars, my counselors, but most of all, God, my mom, and my son, because they didn't ever give up on me. And I never gave up on them, even when I left them behind at the shelter. I knew they would be safe there, but I had to take care of things like getting clean. Today I have 6 months of sobriety. Thank you. I haven't had this long of sobriety in 9 years. In March, we moved from a shelter to a real home, which is a true blessing. No more nightmares, just peace and time to heal. All of us have access to healthcare for the first time in about 9 years. In fact, I'm recovering from a surgery I had a couple weeks ago. This wouldn't have been possible if I was still homeless, especially with the complications that I'm experiencing. Next week, I start class at American River College. I want to be a substance abuse counselor so I can help other families the way VOA helped me. My main goal is to show my mom that I could take care of my son, that she did raise a good kid. Because my mom and my dad never did drugs, it was just me. They did raise me right, and I can come through this. Today, they both trust me, and I'm so grateful for this second chance at life.
Thank you for giving us a home and making us happy again. I have friends to play with now, and I like that now that my mom is clean and healthy, that we could all be together in our own home. Thank you to VOA CPS and Chrissy and my mom and my whole school.
Wow. Every year, I am deeply moved by the stories of resiliency VOA's clients share. Thank you, Kimberly, and thank you, Joey, for sharing your incredible journey with all of us this morning. May you and your family continue to thrive. I'm Melissa Aliotti, board chair for VOA. I'm very grateful to be here with all of you to share the stories of some of the remarkable clients and guests VOA serves every single day. Each year, with the support of people like you, VOA helps more than 17,000 individuals feel loved. This is where it all starts, the secret sauce, if you will. We all come into this world with a need to be loved, and that doesn't end at birth. We know instinctively that we all need love to thrive. And there's no denying that the healing power of love creates miracles. As Kimberly just courageously shared, VOA's people didn't give up on her. We showed her love, compassion, patience, and understanding, treating her with the dignity she deserves and allowing her the space to heal. Starting with a foundation of loving support and the critical basics of shelter and sobriety, she is now able to make a stable home where she and her family can thrive together. No more tears and no more nightmares of what could happen sleeping in a tent along the river at night. I am thrilled that VOA and my friend Kent were there for Kimberly, her son Joey, and her mother Juanita. I want VOA to be there for the next fellow human who is afraid and hurting, and the one after that, and so on. But helping people get back on their feet and thrive takes financial resources. Historically, we have managed together to help Volunteers of America close its annual funding gap. This gap is the difference between what VOA receives from government funding and the true cost of helping so many vulnerable people create sustainable outcomes in order to thrive. At the beginning of this year, the anticipated funding gap was $2.6 million. Before COVID-19, we were closing in on that gap. Then the pandemic hit the Northern California and Northern Nevada region, dramatically impacting VOA's programs, staff, clients, and guests. Unexpected expenses increased the funding gap by $900,000. We desperately need to close that gap by June 30th, and we need your help to do it. I recognize this has been a challenging time for many of us, but if you have the resources to help, please join us today to change lives in a meaningful and sustainable way. I'm going to tell you in just a moment how you can do that. Let me start off with some great news. As Leo said earlier, with gifts received just in the last few weeks, we now have $800,000 left to raise by June 30th. I hope you're ready to join me and these other donors in providing financial support for essential day-to-day operations. In a moment, a live link will appear in the chat box, which will take you to a web page for donating. But first, I want to tell you about VOA's Shelter from the Storm Society. This society of donors gives a minimum $1,000 annually for at least 5 years. This year, I'm thrilled to share we have matching gifts to inspire you to become a Shelter from the Storm Society member. Or if you're already a society member, to increase your giving level or years of commitment, or both. Our good friends at Wells Fargo will match every new or additional $1,000 annual society gift up to $85,000. Thank you, Karen and Wells Fargo Bank. In addition, my longtime friend and board mentor, Paul Esch, along with other partners, will match all gifts up to $115,000. In other words, your gift of $1,000 will be worth $3,000 to VOA. Please join me in thanking Wells Fargo and the Esch family and our other generous friends for their lead gifts. Just awesome. Now it's time for you to join in. We've created a special page on VOA's website to make it easy for you to pledge. Click on the link in the chat box and you'll be directed to a web page with 3 buttons. The red button is for those of you who choose to become new Shelter from the Storm Society members today. This giving level is a minimum commitment of $1,000 annually for 5 years. That's equivalent to less than $84 a month, but please consider giving more. Please join me in becoming a Shelter from the Storm Society member. It may help you to know how your money could be spent. $1,000 annually will help someone like our friend Greg leave homelessness behind and fulfill his dreams, whatever they may be. $10,000 a year for 5 years will provide shelter, life skills, counseling, and employment for 5 veterans. $25,000 per year will provide substance abuse treatment, mental health support, parenting skills, and life skills for 5 pregnant women escaping a life of abuse or addiction or both. The blue button is for current society members. I know there are several of you here. Wave your hands or give a thumbs up to show us where you are. Thank you so much for providing the sustaining support VOA relies upon annually. And don't forget, the matching gifts from Wells Fargo and the Esch family and their partners will be added to your increased or extended pledges today. Current society members use that blue button to make an increased or extended donation. The green button is there for those of you who want to customize your giving. You don't have to become a society member to support VOA in its important work. Please choose or create a gift amount that is right for you by clicking on the green button and telling us how much you would like to give. Are you ready to give? If you haven't yet, go to the chat box now and follow the live link to the website. Julie's got it up there now. That's the live link. Click on that and go to the website. When you get there, just click on the button that's right for you. Red for new society member, blue for current society member, and green for custom level of giving. You can also just open a new browser window right now and type in voa-ncnn.org/givehope. At Volunteers of America, we welcome your contribution at any level. Any gift you make today will help meet the increasing demand for essential services. We truly appreciate whatever level of support you can provide. Follow that live link, open a new browser window. When you're finished, come back to us here in Zoom. We'll be waiting for you. Hi, Marcia, I see you clapping. Thank you. Looks like we've got people with heads down trying to make the donation that works for them. Thank you so much. Great. Appreciate that, all of you. Nice to see you, Judge. Bob, thank you for being here. Okay. Words are inadequate to express my gratitude to all of you for your time and your treasure this morning. With your generous support, VOA can continue to provide essential housing, employment, and all-around services that our most vulnerable community members need in order to thrive. You all have my sincere thanks for this overwhelming response. On behalf of those who find their way to Volunteers of America every day, oh, hi, Tim. On behalf of those who find their way to Volunteers of America every day, thank you. Now I'd like to ask VOA's Chief Development Officer, Christy Holderegger, to finish out our program. Christy?
Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. I just wanted to extend my appreciation to everybody that joined us this morning. This has been an amazing experience that we've pulled off in the last few weeks, but we couldn't have done it without all of you being here today. So thank you. Special thank you to Kimberly and Joey and Juanita, who really inspire me to be working for this organization for 29 years. So thank you for all of your hard work. I wanted to introduce a very special friend of mine that I met probably about 2 years ago. And this is JT Tilson.
Hello.
JT is our amazing graduate from our former foster youth transitional housing program. And JT, for probably most of his life, has been painting. And in the last several years, it has really taken off. And there's a piece of artwork just behind us, and I'm going to show that to you just a minute. But JT wanted to tell you a little bit about the art that he created.
This is a piece. The name of the piece is called "Life is Hard, Keep Pushing," and it represents, like, you know, when you're going through hard times and, you know, things might be hard, but at the end of the day, you have to keep progressing and just push, because the end results are going to be worth it. Like, just anybody that's been through anything, this is a piece that represents, okay, you can get through this. You just got to keep pushing. So that's what this piece represents.
Awesome. All right. And we have the winner in this envelope. You want to open it?
Roll,
drum roll.
Gwendolyn Jones.
Gwendolyn Jones. Congratulations. Well, thank you so much. Hopefully Gwendolyn is out there somewhere. But Gwendolyn, stop by our office anytime to pick up this wonderful painting that JT created. And we're going to stay live for a few more minutes. So if you have questions and that you want to ask us in the chat, please do so. Otherwise, have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you again for joining us. And I hope to see you in person soon. Thanks.
Gwendolyn, are you still with us?
I am, yes. Hi.
Congrats.
Thank you so much. That's amazing. That art is beautiful. So inspiring. Thank you so much. I never win anything. This is great. Nice. Thanks, JT. It's amazing. You did a beautiful job. I'm so excited. I now have to find a place for it to hang. So thank you.
Like it.
Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.